Hello, everyone. My name is Phil Chan. I'm the co-founder of Final Bow for Yellowface. Welcome to What's the Tea? A daily conversation with a dancer of Asian descent during the month of May to celebrate Asian Pacific Heritage Month and for us to highlight the achievements and experiences of Asians in dance. Today, I'm very excited to chat with a new friend, Wei Wang from San Francisco Ballet. He's a principal there. And today he's raising money for the San Francisco Ballet Corona Relief Dancers Fund. So Wei Wang, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited. I'm
Okay,
honored to
so
be here chatting with you.
we're glad to have you. So first of all, let's just check in. Like, what's going on with you? Where are you in the world? How's it going? What are you missing? What's up? How have you been?
I'm currently in San Francisco still. I'm not able to go home this year, a little bummed, but as you know, like I am still active, like doing social media stuff and online stuff with the company. I don't feel like I'm totally disconnected, so I'm still okay, holding up okay.
What does that relationship with the company look like right now? Like, what is your job like these days?
So I don't know if you can see behind me, that's my little studio I set up in my living room. And I just doing daily classes, a little bit practice in my living room. Can't make too much noise for a downstairs neighbor. But mostly just we will have some online meeting and then I'll chat with my friends through Zoom occasionally. So we just still feel connected. And then we'll come up with ideas and concept online through company Zoom meetings so we can contribute ideas and then different ways to interact with audience online or, live streaming or putting up videos, stuff like that. We talk about it through Zoom.
I think that's so great that like we sometimes think of ballet dancers as these like creatures, magical creatures, but like they're actually our neighbors and the
Yeah.
people who live in your building and who still want to give back to the community. So that's great that you're able to have that more direct contact now in some ways during this time. So why don't we tell for folks who don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What's your dance training? When did you start? Uh,
So I'm from China, Liaoning Anshan. That's where I was born. And when at the age of 10, I went to, oh, well, my parents sent me to Beijing Dance Academy to study ballet. I still don't know why that decision was made at that point, but I'm grateful where I am and how it became on the way. Um,
well, you never asked them like, hey, what was that about? Like,
well, I just well, when I was younger, I was always physically active, running around, and then my parents put me into like a local studio, and then I started off like like every young kids are stretching, especially back in China. We stretch, do some Chinese dance, and then to be interested. And then my parents thought, the quickest way to get rid of me to send me away to not have the least trouble. And then so I was in Beijing the age of 10. So that's how it began.
it's so funny in America, a lot of dance teachers, they'll make boys take like hip hop or like, something to get them to take
Yeah.
ballet. Like the
Uh-huh.
first thing is hip hop. And so I love that like the lure for you was like, yeah, stretching and Chinese dance and then like
Yeah.
ballet. So at what point in your training did you start to say, okay, this is something for me. I'm good at this. I want to do this as my career. I want to make a life doing this.
So I think, well, I studied ballet in Beijing for 7 years. I mean, just to, look back and then everything was a blur to me. And I don't even know why I chose ballet at the beginning, in the very beginning. But I started to fall in love with ballet. Does it sound too cheesy to say that?
No,
I do,
absolutely
I
not.
do. I have so much passion, so passionate for this art form. And then when I get close to graduation, I think that's when I started realizing, oh, maybe I like doing ballet. Maybe I want to make a career out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What
after
was
7 years, yeah.
and what does that passion mean for you? Like, what is tell us about that?
Mm, I think personally, even for ballet in general, dance, what I look into the most is to express and then tell a story, or even just to express emotion or stuff like that. Um, I believe that ballet art form also is a language that connect with people, and then, but it's just most important for me that I can express myself, and then this is the way that I know to do something like this, to tell a story or to have a window that I can literally pour my feelings out. So that's how I feel like, oh, maybe I love ballet.
That's a great answer. That's a great answer. So, how did you get from graduation at the Beijing Dance Academy to San Francisco?
It was actually a story when I did a competition in YGP in New York, and I didn't win a prize, but I have an aunt lives in Sacramento, California, and she wanted to just encourage me to congrat me to actually made it into final. She bought me a ticket to visit her here in California, San Francisco. It was a fun trip at first, but we just needed an excuse to get visa, travel visa easier.
Right.
So yeah, her daughter, Vicky, my cousin, found out the school summer session was actually auditioning. So I had the privilege. It was a privilege to actually see a different side of the world and how they do ballet, how they the class, what is class like. After the audition, it kind of moved me because I never thought I would go so far to do this. I thought I was staying in China to contribute or something. But yeah, that moved me, and then I wanted to come here. I want to see more, basically.
What's the difference between China and the United States in terms of the ballet culture?
Um, right now, the door everywhere, the door is wide open. I don't think we can say there's one place is more isolated than the other. So right now, even though ballet is not a Chinese art or Asian art, it's a Western art. But right now, we're on the Chinese on a big development on there, taking on the ballet to another level. So I don't see any. There's lots of potential for that, but for me, ballet is always a Western culture, Western art form. I want to just to learn about how what they think about ballet, what's ballet in their eyes, and then how they developed art like this. Yeah, I'm just curious.
And how do you feel as an artist working in America versus in China? Do you ever think what my life would be like if I had stayed in Beijing or danced with a company in China? And like, do you ever dream about like another life for yourself?
uh, I don't know, because for me, I'm just like, this is my path. I only see where I'm walking. I guess
Yeah.
I I just maybe just for my comfort, I don't see too much of a sideways. But I still have contact with my classmate back in Beijing. They joined China National Ballet. They're doing great, and then well, they do lots of amazing things as well. And then I don't know, it's just in a different situation. I couldn't ask anything better, for
Great.
myself, because I think I am on the right path.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I think you're doing pretty well. Uh, so tell me, you as part of your education in China, you learned classical Chinese dance. Do you bring any of that to your artistry as a classical ballet dancer here in America? And maybe to what degree is your Chinese heritage? How does that inform your work as an artist here in America?
um, well, as a Chinese man, Chinese dancer,
Yes.
um, I still see lots of differences between those two dances. It's just because I trained very classically, like most of the dancers out there. That especially the in China, the method is from Russian, so it's pure classical. There's not too much of a wiggle room for you to develop yourself back then. So I'm still quite I want to say academic of a dancer. I when I think of dancing, first thing has to be very very technical. So I tend to be a little less Chinese on a stage or in the studio. In a sense, I I do feel there's part of me is missing out, but I just think about I'm proud of what I'm doing, so I think it's
What do
worth
you,
it to.
what do you mean less Chinese? What does that mean?
It just I don't know. It's different culture. Ballet as in Western culture is very open, and then you express as you as a character or as a feeling you really when you want to say something you burst out. um, I think Chinese dance as a art form, as I did little of I know, if I see, or back in school, I saw lots of amazing Chinese dancer. They're in the studio working where they're performing. The passion and the art form itself is, for me, it's intimidating because there's lots of very thick culture to the dance and to the material, to the elements that I couldn't even see myself in it, even as a Chinese, because for me it was just so intimidating. And then also, as well, most of the dancers, Chinese dancers, they're so skilled, so technical, and then amazing techniques. So I don't even know how I can bring that to ballet to make a combine or some comparison. I don't know. I never thought it like that because yeah, I mean ballet
Yeah,
is all I know.
that just curious. So speaking of ballet, how do you think as a community we are doing when it comes to race and representation?
mm, um, well, the thing is right now the structure has built in the U.S. Lots of companies has to have like one or two Asian dancers. So the faces you see is Asian faces everywhere. So I didn't have the concept of when I joined the company, I need to be accepted, where like I have to go through the acceptance. So I feel confident, and then plus my director Helgi, he is extremely, his choice and taste, like a variety is so diversity. So he needs different dancers and different styles to mash it together as in one. So to just look at that, I'm very lucky of joining this company as a Asian face. I just feel confident I can really find a place.
Can you maybe tell me more? So maybe there's some artistic directors out there who are watching who want to emulate that welcoming feeling. So how specifically has Helgi made your experience, made you feel not like an outsider, even though you are an outsider in this
Yeah,
art
yeah.
form? What are some things Helgi has done to make you feel included?
I just don't. I don't think he did anything special, but he definitely, I think that's the whole point. He didn't do anything special to me. He saw maybe I have some potential, and then he give me chances, give me opportunities. And then when I made a mistake, he didn't give up. I think just on that level, it just means everything to me that he actually didn't give up, and he didn't treat me differently than anyone else. And then he didn't constantly telling me about like, okay, you're Asian, you're, you know, there's certain roles that you can't do, or a certain type of character is not suitable for you. No, well, anyone that has a character in themselves or something very suitable for them. But I think the least you can do is just to not treat them differently, just be normal, you know,
Yeah,
like
great
everyone else.
advice. Great advice. So just wondering in terms of how Asianness is represented, have you personally had any experiences of, you know, having to perform a role that you weren't comfortable with, or any experiences around your race or being Chinese that you'd be willing to share with us?
Yeah, the one thing, well, yeah, for me at first, of course, when I first joined the company too, back in 2012, I just suddenly I feel like I'm I feel very locked up. I thought it was a very natural feeling at first joining the company. I feel like any role is not for me. Everyone is so talented and so expressive of what they're doing, and I just feel like as a, you know, this phase, I'm not fitting in that moment. So I had a very hard time to find myself a sort of a direction of maybe this is this type of character what I want to do. I just thought nothing works for me until like I worked probably 3-4 years in the company, and then realized maybe it's not, you're not suitable for anything else. Maybe is that I'm not willing to accept that maybe I can do lots of things, you know, give myself the confidence I can do lots of things. I think just the doubt that sort of pushed me away from, you know, Asian face is no difference than anyone else. Everyone can do it. We can do it. You know, I just put myself in a doubt.
So now you've worked your way up to becoming a principal dancer, which means you've danced at lots of different levels and danced lots of different repertory. So in this thought of like what you couldn't do, what are some roles that maybe when you were younger, you thought, oh, I couldn't do that with, or an Asian person might not be good at that, that maybe since then you've now danced and made a role your own?
Uh, um, well, I think luckily, very fortunate. I am the first male principal in this company. So I thought I don't know. I thought I made a big stamp on the Prince in Nutcracker, just to, you know, bring audience that you know, there's a Chinese prince can also do Nutcracker. You know, it's
And why is that important to have a Chinese prince?
uh, I wouldn't say it's it may be important for this society or for this art form, but for me it's not really that important, because I just believe that dance is for everyone. Different dance, different story, even is from different background. If you have body parts, if you have a
Yeah.
brain, you can do it.
Now, do you feel any responsibility as San Francisco's first male Asian principal dancer to be a role model for other young dancers? Like, what advice would you have for them to show them that they can have a place here too?
That's quite a big question. I try not to pressure myself, but I can just, well, by just telling my own experience of dancing in this company, just really know your strength, really know your ground. I think that's very important as a dancer, or whatever dance that you're doing. Like, well, because people say know your enemies, but the biggest enemies in dance is yourself. You have to sort of beat yourself up every day to sort of like torture yourself to get into the state that you can be pushed even harder every day. And then you just have to know yourself better and don't look down yourself, and then no guilt, no regrets. I think that means the most to me, and then that can get me going. I think so.
That's great. That's beautiful advice. Thank you. So how do your parents feel now about your career in ballet? I mean, did they ever say, like, anything now? Like, what are their feelings?
Well, they've been always so supportive, but they have absolutely no expectation. They know me, and they've seen me dance in the video, and they came visit and saw my Nutcracker live once, and they still, I mean, that's how parents are. They just want to know you're okay. They don't necessarily need to care like how well you're doing, or like what are you doing exactly, But they're very supportive parents. I'm just
Great.
grateful.
Good to hear. So now let's look ahead. Coronavirus is going away. Life is starting to allow for the arts to come back. What do you think, in your opinion, what do the arts need to do to build a younger, more inclusive audience, get new people coming to ballet, get more Asian people, in ballet? Like, as somebody from an Asian background, what do you think it's going to take to get our community more involved?
I mean, just by looking ahead, first of all, I can't wait to get back to the studio first. Or on stage, I really I can't wait, because this has been too long, and I need to see my friends. I need to see my colleagues. Just the environment I need to feel, that I want to feel active again. And then I think dance will never. I just believe dance will never lose its audience, and then even younger generations, and I feel like eventually they will wanted to see something like this. Naturally, for me, younger audience, or younger generation, to bring them to this art form, I think it's just a matter of time, because ballet dance is big right now. It's everywhere, and they see it on TV, on big screen, and on their phones, live in the theater. There's many theaters everywhere, and they do different amazing things. So I think it's just a matter of time. And then of course, we, as a business, as a company, we do need loyalty audience. We can't lose them, because we need the support to, retain this art alive. But I think it just do the best of what we can do. And then for me, I just want to do the best. And then the more people I tell, I think they will know about a little bit. And then eventually, maybe they will like ballet. They will want to go to see a show, or go purchase a live stream online or something.
Which is a great segue to our next topic, which is, how can our viewers support you and support the San Francisco Ballet? What programming are you guys doing right now, and how can we get involved?
So we're doing the thing is called the Critical Relief Fund. I mean, it's not really advertising, but if you go to sfballet.org, there's tons of information up there for you to see. And then, just to support, even big or small.
And are you dancing? Are they streaming any performances? Can we see you dance anytime soon?
Yes, we're doing a weekly streaming. We stream one ballet, one a short program every week on our official website as a Ballad.org. You can find it there easily. We're doing Helgi about 3-4 years ago. I can't remember. Helgi pulled a giant program together. 12 new ballets we created. The program is called Unbound. We have 12 different choreographers from all over the world. We brought it together, and then they created 12 ballets in 3-4 months. And then we released that program in that season. It was a huge success. Everyone had a blast. It was a very, very interesting experience for me because working with choreographer, know what they're thinking in their head. It's actually right now is what I'm interested because
Okay.
I like to create something as well myself. But I do admire someone is so thoughtful of their work. I just like to see it, work with them, and then dance for them. It's truly like it's an enjoyable moment. And then we're streaming a ballet from that program every week, 7 days, and you can find it online. So right now we're doing we're streaming a ballet called "Hurry Up, We're Dreaming" by Justin Peck with
Great.
sneakers.
Okay. Well, I think that's lovely, and it's really great to hear that you want to be a choreographer too. I think there's a few other people who we've interviewed that might want to hear from you because the reality is there are very few Asian choreographers making work in ballet right now. I can name them on one hand, and most of them are dead. So we really need more voices from people with our experience. So I think what's great is like Stella Brera, who we talked to a couple of days ago. She's the artistic director of Katzbahn, who has residencies for choreographers. We were talking to Ed Liang, who's the artistic director of Ballet Met, who's Chinese, who also is curious in developing this. The Serio Collective, with Leah and Jeffrey Serio, they commission new works from choreographers, and of course the Seattle Dance Collective with James Moore
Cool.
and Noe at PNB, who also commission work. So like you have all these Asians who are commissioning work. So I feel like we should just connect you and let's see what happens.
Yeah, I hope it will happen one day.
Great. Well, just keep your eyes on this space. You heard it here first. The next hot choreographer is right here. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. If you're listening, please take a moment to support San Francisco Ballet's Corona Relief Fund. Thank you again for chatting with me, and make sure to check out our Instagram page now for the reveal of tomorrow's dancer chat. And tune in at noon Eastern Standard Time for the next conversation. Thank you again.
Thank you.